Well, good morning for some of you. To some of you, it's afternoon. I am out here in California, and so I'm 3 hours behind. It's about 9:14 here, and happy Sunday. Sunday is one of the most divided days in the world with religion, but happy Sunday to you all. So this is all new for me. I'm glad that. Thank you to those who have come who have subscribed to my channel. And I want this to be a different kind of platform that we can talk about things and be respectful to each other. And listen, it's a new day, it's a new season, it's a new time, and I'm looking forward to what's to come. But while you're here, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Now, let me say this: you do not have the right to use my material for your platform. So, you can share it, but you can't use it on your channel. All right? You can't use it. You don't have that kind of permission. And I'll have this set up. All of this is so new to me. Good morning. All of this is so new to me. I would have done this about a year ago, but I was not in an emotional state to do it. I was still, going through my process, and it would not have been good for me to start the process. So thank you for that. For those of you that are joining this channel, I'm telling you, this is so brand new to me. But hit that like, subscribe, and share button, and also hit that notification bell and hit all so that you can get all of my videos. I want to help as many people as I possibly can. This is to really open up the doorway to unheard voices, those that have been silent for years. You've suffered in silence for years. I know the trauma of that. I know what it can do. I know where it can take you. And I'm so grateful that I did not end up like many people, or I didn't do to others what was done to me. And I'm so grateful for that. I know the pain of it. I know the pain of being violated. I know the pain of of not being able to express what happened to you. This is why it's important that as parents, listen to your children and allow them, make it a safe place for them to talk. Allow for them to express their feelings and express what happened to them. Make it so that they can talk to you about anything that's uncomfortable. You need to be able to set that space for them so that they can tell you in and everything that has taken place in their day so that you can protect them, right? So, excuse me, I'm having my coffee. I love black coffee. Just nothing in it, just black coffee. Hey, good morning, Sakira. So I didn't put this out. I just decided to do it this morning. So I didn't like advertise or anything. But those of you that are coming on, you'll hit the replay button. I want you to go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and share, but hit that notification bell that says, when you hit that notification bell up to the left, I believe, hit all so that you can get all of the videos. So yeah, it's important that you make your space, your home, your relationship with your children a place that they, make it so that they can talk to you about anything. Because if someone touched them the wrong way or says something to them or did something to them, you don't want them to shut down. Because if they shut down, you're going to be lost. Like literally, you're not going to know what's going on with your children. And I want to talk about feelings because I can speak from my own experience. When you shut down your experience or shut down your feelings, it will shut down your creativity, your thoughts. It will shut down your actions because now you're turned inward and you've closed down and you don't know, nothing functions. Your mind is all over the place. Your heart is all over the place. Your emotions are all over the place. And you can't really make good sound decisions and your thought patterns begin to change. When we shut down our emotions or our feelings, Now we become unaware of our emotions, right? And that's the beginning of the numbing process. I was listening, someone inboxed me. I've had several people to message me. Someone inboxed me and said, I almost forgot that I was violated until I heard your story. And a lot of that is because we find other things to numb. We try to forget. I can't even begin to tell you how I tried to forget. And that's the numbing process. When you start ignoring how you feel and you start shutting down, you're hoping that it goes away because you're not dealing with it, right? And as long as you don't talk about it, you don't have to really confront it. Well, you can't really confront a thing if you don't bring it up. You can't become better until you confront whatever you have experienced and are experiencing. And so when you move in that numbness, and as we attempt to move forward, we start grabbing for things that will cover up the pain, that will cover up the stain, and that will anesthetize the pain to help us feel better about it. We really try to forget. There are those of you that are out there now. I mean, you have stories of your own to tell, and you've not been in a comfortable place to tell it. You don't feel safe, or you still battling with fear, or you still afraid of how others are going to think about you and what they're going to say and what your critics are going to say. May I suggest to you that you don't have to talk to your critics. Matter of fact, you don't have to respond to your critics, because when you start responding to your critics and you're trying to make them understand or make them believe, then you are now you're distracted, and these things come to distract you, to keep you from your sole purpose and goal, whatever your goals are. And I suggest that we would go see a counselor. If loved ones can't talk to you, or if you can't talk to your loved ones, those that will protect you and not blame you for what happened to you. And I don't understand, how do you blame someone for being violated? How is it their fault? Excuse me, how is it their fault? It's not their fault. A violator is a violator. I remember talking to my counselor some years ago, and I started saying certain things, and the counselor said, "So you think this happened to you because of this?" A violator, a molester, a whoever they are doing what they're doing because that is what they do. It has nothing to do with you. They saw an opportunity and they honed in on it, and they took advantage, and then tried to make you feel it was your fault, or don't say anything. Listen, when I received the message that this person finally talked about it after 40 years, I'm not calling in the names. I would never do that. After talking to their, and they've moved on with their life, or have tried to move on with their life in a married or what have you, and they said, It's been 40 years, and I almost forgot until I heard your story." See, people would teach you, and society would teach you, don't talk about it. The less you talk about it, the better off it is. I don't know why we don't like to confront situations. But I think if it happened to your child, or if it happened to someone that you love, well, I don't know, because there are people who will talk about your gay brother, sister, cousin, whoever, and you'll talk about them, but you protect the person that violated them. It's senseless to me how we protect the violator. The society empathizes with the perpetrator or the violator, but then cast aside the person that's been violated. And church folks are good at it, because they'll say, "Oh, don't touch them. That's the man of God." With the man of God or the woman of God, or whoever they claim to be, or whoever they are, because listen, you can be who you are and still battle with things in your flesh. And so you protect them. And so we got to cover our leader. Well, cover them, meaning you confront them and you talk about things that need to be talked about, but it doesn't mean cover up for them. See, covering a person and covering up are two different things. You try to get them help, but you can't be on the wrong side of truth. It comes back, I promise you, like it's doing right now, 30 some years later. It's coming back because I numbed or did things to anesthetize or to numb the pain, right? So be able to talk about it, at least find a counselor that can help you. So as we attempt to move forward, we start grabbing for things that will cover up the pain and stain and the and the trauma of it all. Yeah, that's right. What you say, speaking, you said, I think you yourself feel the need to protect your. No, I don't feel the need to protect my molester. Why wouldn't you speak this person name? I think you're looking at something that's very old that happened in 2020. I have been speaking about George Bloomer. I'm not protecting my sodomizer. I have spoken about him and have called his name. I think you're not look I think you're looking at something that was old. This is something new now, okay? So, and I'll be playing a clip from our conversation today that has been unheard. So no, I do speak my truth, Roxanne, and I'm not protecting my molester. When I agreed to, and I don't want to do this uh because it takes away from. I don't want to. I really, this is not the thing that I do to go back and forth. When I originally agreed to talk about it, I wanted to talk about the system that failed and that fails us as young boys or young women. It's the system, and I really wanted to talk about a system because if the system wasn't in place that protects, then those things would have never happened. We wouldn't be here today if the system had not allowed it to be, right? So what you said, Dara, true, the abuser is covered. Yes, they always cover up the abuser, right? And so when I was asked by Bernard Jordan, can I tell my story without telling a name? Because I'd agreed to, yes, let's talk about the system. Yeah, the system. If the corrupt system wasn't in place, if the leaders wouldn't allow these parishioners or whoever to come back and continue to violate. It is a system and it's a damnable, evil, demoniacal system. You try to get the fruit, right? People try to cut, they say, well, we're going to destroy this, we're going to get the fruit. And you can't, you can cut the fruit all day long, but if you don't get to the root of it, that fruit is still going to grow. People are swinging at fruit when they should be putting an axe to the root. And that is the corrupt system, right? I got it. Thank you. I just wanted to be clear about that. But yeah, for some reason, our society protects, they really protect, especially in the church. Oh, that's my man of God. They be ready to fight. That's my, oh, they didn't do that. I don't believe they did that. Do you know that there are people who don't believe that there is a God? But that doesn't change his godness. He still continues to be God. So whether you believe it or not, it is a true fact. So this is why when children come to their parents or people that are supposedly be adults, and then that adult say, I don't believe you, it shuts that child down. It keeps him or her from talking about it because they say, well, they're not going to believe me anyways. So what happens? They continue the trauma and the violation. It just perpetuates. You keep perpetuating it. When you don't listen to your child, investigate regardless of what that child say. Investigate and stop letting your children go stand the night over, but because things are happening, and babysitters, uncles, godfathers, and guess what? Females, they violate other females as well, and they violate boys. So you have to put yourself in a place that your children can come to you about anything and stop fussing and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I know of people today that they experience a trauma or a violation from their mother's boyfriend. And when they told the mom put them out because they wanted to hold on to the boyfriend. How vile is that? That you can deny your child or anyone that you love, you know, anyone that you love, and you deny them the right to express themselves, right? So it's important. So what happens is we start grabbing for things, and if you're sometimes you try to cover up the pain and the trauma with drugs, alcohol. I've seen it happen, and promiscuity. They're trying to get the sin off of them, and so they try to prove to themselves they're not what they said they were, or what other people said that they are, and they fall into promiscuity, and they just start going out of hand and haywire. And if you're religious or in the church, you'll attempt to cover up the trauma. You'd be attempt to cover up your trauma with church stuff, joining auxiliaries, praise team, preaching, singing, and you overdose on church services. You're there every time the door's open because you're still trying to deal with that thing that happened to you, and you can't express it and you can't talk about it, right? And so I watch people, they praise hard. Sometimes it's not that they are really in it. They're trying to cover up that pain. If I can just get rid of this pain or the trauma, and let's not talk about it. I don't know why the church won't talk about it. Well, I know why, but as powerful as the church said that they are, or people in the church said that they are, they refuse to confront the obvious, the pink elephant in the room. I don't understand, but we'll continue to violate and let people come in and violate our people and sodomize. I mean, people do it to adults, to the elderly. You can sodomize the elderly, or people get. So what I am saying is, the talking about it is the beginning of the healing process. When I came on Daryl's cigar blogger um, uh, uh, platform, I needed to talk about it. And I'm going to tell you why. I can't tell you now, but I will tell you in another video. I needed to get it out. And seems like at every point something blocked it. And I felt that thing uh, swelling up in me. Like, I have to get this out. I've been holding this for years. I have to find a way to get it out so other people can hear me. All right. So listen, talking about it to the right people and discussing it, it is the beginning process of healing. Excuse me. It's still early here for me. Um, so we attempt to cover up the trauma with church stuff. And in actuality, these things aren't the answer. That's why years later it pops up. It did for me. Oh, I went to prayer. I went to church service. I was always in the church. And during that time, uh, they would have a whole month of prayer, and I was there. And so I was trying to cover up and deal with the 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 stuff. And so if it's not dealt with properly, it shows up unannounced, and it shows up when you least expect it. So find a person or find a group that you trust, and start talking about your trauma. It is the beginning process for healing. I got something I want you to hear. I hope you can hear. This is the conversation, that part of the conversation that George Bloomer and I had. I've not had a conversation with him since 2019. So there are those that thought I'm still having conversations. No, these are old things. When I put up text messages, it was from April 19. So of 2019, excuse me, April something 2019. So pay attention to what I'm saying, and so that you won't get it confused. I'm not having current conversations with George Bloomer. Um, George Bloomer came to the church at that time, and I was really, really impressed, because the church that we were in, this pastor, female pastor, Cora Bell Fails. She's Apostle Cora Fails now. She's gone through just about every title. Um, she brought him in, and so absolutely, I agree. I believe in therapy too, Roxanne. Um, don't go. The church is a cover up, right? So Don't go to the cover up to keep covering up. Go to a licensed therapist, right? So George Bloomer came and I was impressed because where we were, excuse me, at the time, she really wasn't, still not preaching. I'll show you a clip of her at some point at a funeral where she was just really horrible, failed. And it was the same way. It was about manipulation and control, not really saying anything, but I was young, right? So she brought George Bloomer in to preach. So when all of this took place, and I'll talk about it more because I'm going to make more videos, but I want you to hear part of the conversation, all right, that we had that night in April, I think it was 2019. Listen, if you can't hear it, I'm going to try to turn it up so you can't hear. Hold on. And let me know if you can hear it or you can't hear it.
I'm sorry, man. And that's not because that's something that has to be said. That's something I want to say. And need to. All of the, hurts and pains and stuff like that you've experienced. Remember I said that the axe forgets what the tree remembers. Yeah. Yeah, it's or the.
Can y'all hear?
Knife forgets what the scar leaves. It's true, and that's why I don't want to take you down. No, this what I remember, that one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, and I'm really, really sorry. Really, really, really sorry for forgetting you. That's what.
Hold on. Hold on. What did I just do? I wish I had somebody that could really do that. Hold on one second.
That's why it's called.
Hold on.
My name. Oh, yeah. But anyway, it was Atlanta.
Hold on. I just.
I'm
151.
This to me.
I wish I was tech savvy.
Then when I saw the picture,
what
the tree remembers, told me that you're my spiritual son, and
I
can't get rid of you like that. And I know I haven't. Oh, of course.
Hold on.
But I'm gonna for forgetting you.
Okay.
That's what I'm really sorry about.
Yeah, he says he's really sorry for forgetting me.
Because it's like you just blanked, and I didn't know what they were. I didn't know who they were talking about, what was going. So it didn't jog my memory. And then when I saw the picture, immediately I knew exactly who you were. And I remember, immediately. You didn't change that much. You're a little older, but pretty much. And when you was talking about Atlanta, although in my mind I thought it was California, but anyway, it was Atlanta. I saw you.
Can you all hear?
My table, and I remember Ray Mack being there from California. That's why I thought it was California. So the key things that you said that jogged and so on about my memory going. So I want to talk to you and make things right, if at all possible, to make it right. And I was nervous about you thinking that, he's a bullshitter. I didn't want that. And I don't know. Yeah, because I don't want nobody bullshitting me. So and that's why that was the reason why I asked you. I have not, and you're gonna hit the ceiling when I.
All right, so that part, and then I want you to hear. Are y'all able to hear this? Were you able to? I need somebody to respond. Were you able to hear that? If not, I have to find another way. This is the only way I know how. Can you hear it? Did you hear that clip? All right. Hold on.
I didn't mean to offend you when I said, so are you saying should I lose the number?
Oh, that's a whole nother thing there. Because that's anyways. So there's some other parts of this conversation I think it's going to be something to hear, right? Um, I'm not hearing or getting a response. Are you all hearing? Did you hear? Can somebody tell me? Did you hear that conversation? And I'm gonna leave it at that because I need to make sure before I move forward, before I go on to the other parts. I won't go to the other parts in this particular. Um, I probably should. 155. Hold on.
I didn't mean it in that sense, nor did I mean it really when I said to you, have you seen me in different witch calls? What I was saying is that you can see a person's you can see a person's evolution. You can see a person's because some of these Negroes don't ever change. You know that, right?
Oh, of course I know that. You know, but I was not offended. I'm not offended. I wasn't offended because of what you said. So, you know, again, I'll let you know how I feel. Mm-hmm. I'm not.
Could y'all hear the video?
I went in reconciliation. This is how you opened up the story. This is where you caught me in the conversation. And I'm not going into detail with it with those other guys either when I get off the phone with you. But I'm going to tell you this. This is where you caught me. And you said you came to the church and you were speaking and teaching and you were different. And I was impressed by you. Now that fucking shit hurts. That hurts. Because I stole that from you and you gave that back to me today. And I want to figure out how can I give you something back. And never once through the conversation, not one time through this conversation have you said to me, you're a bullshitter. You ain't no fucking preacher. None of this. I've not, and I came to the conversation to the call, waiting to hear venom spewed, and let me get this motherfucker. We're human. You have your thoughts. I have my thoughts.
All right. So there you have it. So that's only part of it. What he meant, I gave it back to him, meaning I said to him what supposedly hurt him was I said he was different. I was a young boy because I hadn't heard preaching on that level. All we heard as youngins, we heard riffraff. And when I said, well, you're right, Ricklin. I don't know if it's Ricklin or Reiklin. You're right. It is very disheartening as well. It was. He felt bad because I said I was impressed by his preaching. I was young. I had never. You just have to see where I came from and how the pastor, Cor Fails, would minister. It just really was never preaching. It was always control manipulation. I mean, preach on something so I can control you. And it was just never the word. So when he came in, he was teaching, and I was so impressed. I've always been a person that, even to this day, I love good teaching. I can listen to it basically all day. All right. So can I say I've not heard this clip? I have not listened to anything since it's been out. It's still a little difficult for me to hear it. I'm not over it. I'm not finished. I'm still going through my process. I'm still seeing a counselor. And I decided that I would play some parts because there's some people, it doesn't matter about some people. Some folks need to hear it. I want people to come out and talk about their story and find a safe place that they can, really talk about what happened to them. My heart is heavy all over again. And I remember it as if it was yesterday. And, the whole trying to skate around, it's easy to sometimes, you hear in another part, I wish I could play it. He's like the axe, forget what the tree remembers. That's what he said, meaning there's some things that he did forget. But I remember it as if it was yesterday. I remember I remember the the trauma of it all. So I have not been able to really listen to it. I just decided I would play a bits and pieces. This was about a 2 hour conversation. You know, so when people hear say, "Oh, he only said this, you only said that," well, you only heard parts of it, and I'm glad, I'm grateful for it because, um, well, I'm really finished. It is still emotional to hear how people try to skate around saying, and you'll hear some other parts. I'll be playing some for you. Okay. Thank you for coming to my channel. Some of you didn't get the notification because you have to hit that notification bell and go to the top and hit all so that you can get the notification. Thank you for chiming in, like, share, and whatever that is that comes with this. All right, peace out. I have to go.